Hello everybody, welcome to my social thread. I'm Sienna and this is my brother Zachary and my mum.
My mum, Crystal. Hello everybody. Today is day 14. No, is it 15? It's day 15 of Vlogmas. And we will start off with our advent calendars. Are you sure it's day 15? Yes, it's day 15. Which one do you want to go for first?
This one.
Kylie and the Machines countdown calendar. Do you want to open it up? So we're going downwards on this one, and it's number 10. Zachary, what's the picture at number 10?
Dog.
So it's this one, the one right up here. Dog number 10. Right, Zachary, you can open that one. Ooh, what are they, Zachary? What do you think they are?
Labels.
Labels, and it says
Woohoo on one side and her.
oh, I didn't see it. It's like a almost like a greeny yellow fluorescent colour. For some reason, when I saw this, it reminded me of Scooby Doo. But it says, what does it say? Hooray on one side, and then woohoo and the Kylie and the Machines logo on the other side. So it's like a citrusy, greeny yellow. It's lovely and bright.
Next is Godmother.
Fairy Godmother Fabric Godmother is number 14.
No, it's 15.
So what day are we on then?
No, today's 14, but we're doing a day earlier.
No, we're not.
Yes,
Oh,
we are.
yeah, so it's
Guess
15.
what
So
it
it's Vlogmas 15, guys. Sorry. Right, the tip says use beeswax on thread for smoother hand stitching and to avoid knots. I do that on my hand stitching. Don't we gonna guess?
I know.
I do that on my hand stitching thread, but I wouldn't do it on my machine. I don't think anybody does it on their machine. But I guess for embroidery and for hand stitching, I definitely do the beeswax.
It feels like
Right, we get
wax,
to guess
like
what it is?
a shaped like thing.
Yep, it's wax.
There's a little hole
It
there.
actually feels like there's votive candles, but I think it is wax because of the tip. Do you want to open this up, my love?
Wax.
Yeah, it's wax. It's wrapped
Open it,
up again.
Anna.
It's wrapped up again. So it's wax then. I think.
So it's like a hexagon shaped. Yes, it is indeed.
Oh, it's really
A hexagon shaped piece of wax, and it looks like a honeycomb. I would just smelt it because it just smelled like it smelled of honey or lemon. But wax. Thank you very much.
Honey, not lemon. That's so pretty.
It is very pretty.
That's so pretty.
It's a shame they haven't put who that's from because most of the suppliers behind this box are all independent companies. And then number 3, Beyond the Pink Door.
15 I'm doing.
Do you want to show bag number 15? Bag number 15. Let's guess what it is.
Actually, here's it. Kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like button things in the button circular shaped thing
Yeah,
on a piece of cardboard. So
Mommy.
it could be buttons.
I think it's buttons as well. Or it might even be not just buttons, but self-covered buttons to go with the self-button covering making kit that we got yesterday.
Oh,
Do you
what
want
these?
Zachary, you open it. Zachary, you open it.
Maybe it's just like.
It is.
Self-cover.
So it's self-cover buttons by Hemline.
Self-cover buttons.
It's that little contraption that we had yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So you basically, for those of you that don't know, especially my daughter, she's asking, you basically cut a round of fabric that's slightly bigger than your button. You then put that round of the button on top of the fabric, and then that contraption that we had, you put it on top of the contraption, put a thing on top of it and squeeze it down, and it creates a self-covered button so that your button matches the fabric. You can get buttons that are made of fabric and they match the fabric of your dress. So that's how you do them. Yeah?
Yes, indeed.
The realization just dropped there. Okay, shall we rate? First, second, third place.
Put it up, show them.
So first place? Zachary, say first place?
First place.
Okay, and what's your second place? Say second?
Second place.
Second place, yeah, and third place?
Third place.
Third place. Sienna, you?
My first place is this one. Second place. And third place.
Mine would be first. Beyond the Pink Door. Kylie and the Machine, second. And Fabric Godmother, third with their wax. Thank you very much. Right, that needs to go in my tin, please.
Bye.
Say bye-bye. That can go up on that wall. And this, I think we should keep it wrapped up. It came up in its own little tissue paper.
With the chalk.
Oh yeah, yeah. Can you put? Where is the chalk? Can you put it in the same?
Tissue paper.
Thank you very much. Oh, second part. I'm very excited. Well, I'm not. I shouldn't be that excited. I have finally finished Sienna's Bakerloo dress. Sienna, pass it over, my love. While I'm talking, I'll pop up some pictures of Sienna wearing it, and you can see from her face how much she loves it so much. And then I will show you the dress here. And from actually on the photos, this navy actually looks black, and to be fair, all of the navy in the dress looks black from far away, so I shouldn't have worried about this, because you know how I was procrastinating, thinking I didn't want to do it because I was waiting to see if I could find my black viscose, but I could only find my navy. But that's turned out quite nice actually, and it's a little bit more, it's a less harsh, you know, black can sometimes be a bit harsh, especially on children. I think I don't really like children wearing black so much. I suppose Sienna's 11, so she's kind of getting at the age where black isn't,
in a month, 2 months.
turning 12 in 2 months, so black isn't so harsh on her age. But I know in stores, I don't know if it was this season or last season, there was quite a lot of black for toddlers and for young children, and that's just not my thing. I just don't think, anyway, my opinion. But yeah, so very happy with this. You've got the long sleeves with the elasticated cuff. So this sleeve, I have not adjusted the shoulder, the sleeve head, so it's still got the lovely gathers there in the sleeve head. So I really love gathered sleeve heads, so I've not adjusted the sleeve head, but the rest of the sleeve pattern I have adjusted. So I've narrowed it down, because it was actually like so huge, so I've narrowed it down and I've shortened it by about 1 inch. And the guide I used for doing that was simply the Lyra sleeve by Tilly and the Buttons, because I quite like that sleeve, and that's the sort of guide that I used to slim this sleeve down a bit. Everything else is as the pattern says. I did end up doing the loop at the back. I was going to go, I said in my previous Bakerloo that I found these loops quite chunky, but I didn't really have an alternative, and I couldn't really be bothered to do that little loop chain thing, so I've just done a loop there. And I've also added some skinny ties on either side to cinch it in. Sorry, there's some loose thread there. But I did have quite an ordeal making this dress. So when I first cut out the pattern, so as you can see, the front bodice is cut on the bias, the collar, the skirt and the sleeves are all cut straight, and then the back bodice, which is cut into 2 pieces, is on a bias as well. So when I first cut it out, the back 2 pieces I cut straight, and I thought, I still have enough fabric, let me cut it on the bias. So I did. But then when I was sewing it up, so yesterday, maybe I watched a video again yesterday, but when I was showing you my back bodice, which was pretty much done, I just had to sew it together. One half was straight and one half was bias, cut on the bias. And so when I went to work on it today, I only just realized when I was lining the 2 together to sew it up that it looked really odd. I know my pattern matching isn't very good either, unfortunately, but there you go. So it was cut on the bias and one was cut normally, and it was just such an eyesore. And I thought to myself, oh, what am I going to do? Shall I just leave it? Because it would just look like a ready-to-wear item where they don't really care how they cut their pattern pieces out on the fabric. But then I thought, let's just get it over and done with, and let's just cut another piece out. But the annoying thing was, obviously, my back piece was already joined at the shoulder seam. It was already joined. The sleeve was already joined and then the side seam was already joined. So I had to unpick all of that, sewing machine stitches and overlock stitches. So that took a while, which was quite annoying, really. And then I just managed to get another one on last night. And then with the collar, not exactly sure what happened with the collar, but I did try to keep those. Oh no, I know what's happened. I don't really know what's happened. So basically, where I've done the collar, there's interfacing on the top side and no interfacing on the underside. And where I had put it together, this one came together really, really nicely. I made sure to pay attention to the corner. As I say, you have to make sure when you're sewing it down from the inside out that there's a tiny bit of fabric here only, because if you get most of that caught in, this little frill here will basically be scrunched down sort of like that, and it won't look very nice, so you'd have to redo it again. So I made sure I paid attention to all the corners. But what I did with the next collar was, instead of doing right sides together, I did one right side together. I did one right side and one wrong side. And so when I turned it inside out, the interfacing was on the outside. And I just thought, oh, because it actually takes a lot of time, as I've said before, to, you know, get this frill on, then you have to baste it, then you get the top bit on, and then you sew it down together. And as I've turned it around, the interfacing was on the outside, and I just thought, I can't bear to undo it, I can't bear to unstitch it. So what I did instead, I kept it as it was. I just ripped off the interfacing from the outside, and I used this as the right side, if that makes sense. So underneath, you can see that's as much as I could go in terms of cutting out the interfacing. Hopefully that will sort of wash away after a couple of washes. And then what I did decide to do is I just cut a smaller piece of interfacing and I sandwiched it inside and ironed that on, so I didn't have to unpick that all. And that's that. I've just added a little button as well, navy blue button at the back, and it has pockets. Oh, I must redo that bit actually. But yeah, there you go. Very happy with that one. It is very Christmassy, and the photos she just looks really happy in it, so I'm very happy for her. I'm very happy for her. So that will be her Christmas Day dress. And what else was I going to say? That's it sewing wise. Excuse me. And I have actually run out of topics to talk to you about now, so from now on they're just going to be short little bits and pieces. So what I was going to say is having a large family, people think, oh, it's so expensive to have lots of children, that's why I only have a few children, or why do you have lots of children, isn't it expensive type thing. And what I can say is it's only expensive having lots of children if you want it to be expensive having lots of children. So for example, you know, designer clothes, we don't buy the children designer clothes, we don't buy designer clothes. Again, trainers, I remember when I was at Lidl, the cashier lady said, oh, how do you have how can you afford 8 children? I mean, trainers are like £150 a pair, 150 a pair these days. And I didn't say anything, but I just thought, I don't buy my children £150 trainers. You know, I guess the most expensive trainer I've bought for the kids, maybe £60, and they're branded. It's just we go to Sports Direct rather than going to the Nike shop or the Adidas shop. Again, with clothes, so for myself, I don't buy clothes for myself anymore, I just make them. But most of the children are ready to wear still. The girls, obviously, I haven't been making dresses for the girls. I haven't quite branched out into making dresses for the boys, clothes for the boys. I have made them hoodies in the past, and I haven't yet made my husband anything, which is a shame. I almost did, you know, plan to make one, but then I just thought, I don't know, I just didn't really follow through. But with the children, so obviously they have lots of hand-me-downs. The one thing that you can't hand me down is our jeans, because they literally rip within the first couple of weeks, the knees, and no matter what brand of jeans you get, they will always rip after a couple of weeks, because the children, the boys, are, you know, they're crawling, they're running, they're doing whatnot. So jeans, I found, are the only things you can't really hand me down, and also just like summer t-shirts and things that just get grubby after a while. But for the most part, all of the boys' suits, they all have suits for special occasions and for Sunday, so they all have suits. They have like 2 suits each. They can like interchange over the seasons. So they're all handed down and they're all still in really good condition. Again, tweed, you know, you get the tweed wool jackets, blazers, and they're all handed down. They've got lots of shirts, jogging bottoms, that sort of thing, all handed down. The girls, again, lots of dresses, skirts, pajamas, all of that stuff, all handed down. So the things we normally buy, obviously, is underwear, t-shirts and things during the summer, and jeans for the boys. And the things that we don't have, I normally get the children's clothes from Next, because I find they're actually quite reasonably priced. And in terms of competition, where else would I go? I don't know. What's the competition to Next? I guess you've got H&M, and then you've got the big stores like John Lewis, Marks and Spencer's, that sort of thing. But what I like about Next is that as a card holder, you can order as much as you want online. I said obviously it comes straight to our house. We try them all on, and then we keep what we want and we return the rest, and it's free returns. And I think that's such an amazing service, because especially for me, where I've got the lots of children, you know, I just order loads and loads, different sizes, do like half a day of trying on clothes for the children, and then just return what I don't need. And I think it's a great way of doing things. Again, Secondhand things, we don't mind secondhand things, especially nowadays where they've introduced school proms. So I think they have one at the end of primary school. So it's around, is that 10? I don't know what's the end of primary school. Is that 10, 11? And then end of secondary school, they have another one, which is 15, 16. And most of the boys will buy a suit for this occasion, and then they don't wear it again. So most of the eBay sales of suits are as a result of a one night wear of at a prom, and so they go for really, really cheap. Well, not really cheap, but they're much more affordable than buying it new. So a neck suit now for, like, I don't know, let's just say a 9-year-old would probably be about £120 for a neck suit, and that's trousers, waistcoat and jacket. Shirts, we have loads of shirts. But if you were to look on Facebook, especially after I don't know when the proms are. I suppose it would be May, June, July. There's loads of them online, so you can grab a bargain. Also after wedding season, so around September, where you've had June, July, August, again, suits that boys wear one time for a wedding, they also go on eBay for a good price. So I would say I could get a decent 3-piece suit from Next, hardly worn or worn once, for about £50, which is a saving of £70, which is really, really amazing. So that's where we go. Likewise, things that we sell on eBay, they still, I mean, you wouldn't, you know, I would probably sell something for like £10-15, but that's still £10-15 in the bank that you can then go, you know, spend towards something else. So yeah, it's not that expensive. Also, food wise, I mean, when you have a baby, the baby's breastfed for the first 6 months. Thereafter, you know, it's just sort of mushed up food that's left over from, you know, it's like a potato or a carrot or like a tiny portion of food from your dinner. So it doesn't cost that much at all. Nappies, again, newborn nappies, I think they're like, isn't it like £1.99 for a pack of 20 or £2.99 for a pack of 30, which really is almost insignificant. So yeah, you can have a large family and not be wealthy. You can have a large family on a decent income. And I just thought I'd share that with you. Yeah. And also, we don't go on fancy holidays, as I've said before. And hopefully, I'd like to think that because the children have each other, they have a large family, you know, they are entertained most of the time. And I think those memories alone, growing up with all the siblings, is memories that they'll cherish growing up, as opposed to going on all these fancy holidays that most other children from small families do. But yeah, I'll leave you with that for now, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.